Eadoin was here for her very first time last month. Yes, I am a huge fan, and she knows this. An absolute massive fan of her work, Firechild Photography. I'm not going to give too much away because I don't know what our topic is, but let's just say this: she's a photographer that is making waves for herself within the business world and all over the world. Where have you worked now? Lots of places. I'm not going to give it away, but she's all over the place. She's in high demand, and I am not a bit surprised. So without further ado, give a huge, huge welcome to Eadoin Curtin.
Hi everyone. So I've got a really short talk title for you this evening. I was trying to make this less wordy, but it was almost impossible. What I want to talk about tonight is how to tap into your potential by embracing the vulnerability of showing up in your business. And you've kind of already talked about it a little bit. It's fucking hard.
Yeah, it is.
And also, I just want to say, I mean, I know most of the people in the room are business owners, but this also applies to you if you're an employee as well. You know, your career is effectively your business. So that's what I want to talk about. Some lessons that I suppose I've learned over the last few years in business. And hopefully you'll pick something up from it too. Amanda, please shout when I've hit my limit, because I know I'm just so basically, the person that I'm kind of talking to with this is a person who is brilliant at what they do, but struggle to find your dream clients. Or if you know that how you do what you do is amazing, but communicating is really difficult. Or if you really want to be the face of your business, but the idea of showing up in professional photographs feels narcissistic or uncomfortable. But sometimes getting uncomfortable is where the good stuff happens. So what I'm going to talk about, just 3 kind of lessons, I suppose. Stepping into your brand means stepping into your success. The profits start when the guilt stops. And your story is your brand. I think, do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like
yes.
we're kind of saying the same thing. So, a little bit about me, first of all. So, Firechild Photography. My name is Eadoin Curtin. Eadoin means little fire. It's really hard for people to spell, so I figured I'd go with something a little easier to remember. I started my journey in personal branding about 10 years ago. It was my first inquiry into self-development, personal development. So, you know, it was the first thing that I ever came across that kind of encouraged inquiry in oneself. And so Firechild was born long before the photography side of the business came to be. But to tell you a little bit about how I got here. So I'm telling you the story of me through the story of this woman. This is my granny. This is Eileen. And my granny was an incredibly creative woman. She was always making little things and, you know, expressing her creativity in the small daily ways. But she was somebody whose potential and creativity was squashed at a very, very early age. She never really had that opportunity. And she made a lot of sacrifices. She, my grandmother, my grandfather, my parents, her story is borne out all throughout my family. People whose wings were clipped so early in life, but did everything to make sure that mine weren't. And like, this photograph was taken in the nursing home where she had dementia at this point. She was an 80-year-old woman who didn't mind having her photograph taken at that stage. But, you know, I took this photograph a long time ago, but it was one of the first portraits where I kind of went, do you know what? This is who she is right now, you know, and it says a lot about who she was as a person, her compassion, her kindness, her love of animals. You know, she was a farmer her entire life, and she always had such a special place in her heart, I suppose, for animals. But, you know, when you talk about your whys, like my family are one of my whys. Being able to do what I do so that their sacrifices are, I don't know, borne out, that, you know, that there's a reason for it, I suppose. So So that's what, I've come a long journey, a winding road to get here, but that's where I am, and she's one of the people who is my why. But also my clients are my why, because helping my clients to fulfill their potential is one of the reasons that I love the work that I do. And over the last 10 years of studying personal branding and the last 4 years of being in business, I've come to realize that the success of your business depends on you standing out. And whether that's wearing yellow, or whether it's having an opinion or a point of view that's just that little bit different, it's whatever it is, but you know what? It's about you. It always comes back to you. We're all of us here, we're all of us unique, and really expressing that, you know, embracing the vulnerability of really showing up as who you are. So the first thing, stepping into your brand is stepping into your business. And what I mean by that is when you make that decision to really inhabit your business, inhabit your brand, that's when people start to recognize you for who you are. And they become attracted to you because what you're saying resonates with them. You know, I mean, I'm sitting here listening to you there, Amanda, and everything you're saying, like, yes, yes. You know, and when people are speaking their truth, the people who hear it, who recognize it, are the ones who say to you, I don't care how we're going to do this, but we're going to work together. So a quick story to highlight that is, where am I going? Oh. So this is one of my clients, Saskia. This was her online presence before we worked together. Really lovely lady, you can tell by the image. It's almost on the page. Can everybody see? Okay. I feel like I'm not sure if I'm doing this again. This was Saskia's online presence after we worked together. Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that a photograph changed everything. It wasn't just the photograph. But the photograph is a tangible thing. You know, the thing that we could see that was a tangible marker of her growth and her willingness to show up and be seen. Like, willing to show up and be seen. You know, I mean, it's like that's, it's, yeah. Exactly. Your business is not a stock business. You founded your business because it comes from your passion and who you are. So your visual brand is not, it's not stock imagery. It's not some photograph of some person doing something related to what you do. Having that visual brand, and if for the first 5 years that's selfies, then that's perfect too. It's showing up, letting people make eye contact with you, making sure that they know who's behind the business. And question, do you ever go into a about page on a website because you kind of think maybe the business is Irish, or you want to know who it is because it sounds really interesting, and you go to the about page and it's a map or it's their product, and you come away and you're like, well, I don't know who it is. You know that frustration? There's people out there who are feeling the same about you if you don't have information about you on your website. The profit starts when the guilt stops. It's a lovely country for a bit of guilt, isn't it? You know that thing where you're like, oh, but nobody wants to know me. Nobody wants to see me. Nobody wants to know about me. Have you ever, like, let's change this around. Have you ever looked at somebody's website or social media and gone, what does she think she is for prancing around? Have you? No. Like someone who's obviously like a nice person that you like. Have you ever done it?
Yes.
No. With somebody that you like? See, this is the thing, because people that we don't like, it's very easy. Like, ugly people are ugly because it's a personality thing. You know, it's not a superficial thing. We all are beautiful people. It's how we interact with the world. But you know, you look at people taking selfies, or you look at their images on their social media or on their website, and you go, oh, I feel like I know that person. You know, because you get, it's the know, like, and trust. Once you feel like you know somebody and you've decided that you like them, if you don't, happy days too. You know, if you think of it in terms of musicians, the musicians that people love, you know, anybody here hate the Beatles? No? Okay. Yeah, I know a couple of people who hate the Beatles.
Yeah.
Hate's a very strong word.
Do you think the Beatles care?
Huh?
The Beatles don't care, because for every one person that hates them, there's at least one person who would have travelled the world to see them. That polarity of response, that's what you're looking for with your clients. That they're going, well, it's her, it's him, there's no choice. Sally Sally is a communications consultant, so she's good with her words. And she was one of the first clients to ever articulate to me, I don't want to do this. I know I want to do it, but I don't want to do this. I can't, I'm not ready, look at me. The day that we took the photos, we had a conversation the day before, she's like, I'm really nervous, I know I want to do this, I know it's really good, it's really important, but I don't want to. So she came, she got her hair done, lipstick on. First thing she said to me when we got together to take the photos, is this false advertising? Because I never really look And it wasn't that she wasn't like degrading herself, she was just genuinely going, are people going to look at me and go, who does she think she is? Sally shared these photographs on her Facebook, not to prance about herself, but to promote me and thank me. So you'll see she's put my website on the post. 230 odd reactions, over 100 comments. Do you think anybody said, Sally, come on, what are you at? Now, every single one of those comments, Sally, it's amazing to see, you look amazing, you look fantastic. So having Sally's face on the front of her website, having her as somebody, because she is the storyteller, she is the story. It's about her communication with her clients and helping her clients. And it is so important, and nobody will judge you, and the guilt is useless. It's of absolutely no benefit. Shout, Amanda. I'm nearly done. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. Right, but I mean, I'm talking about, vulnerability and guilt. I had my photographs taken last year. It was time to walk the walk. And I had a photographer come over to take my pictures. And I'm not going to ask you to say this out loud, but just in your mind, please, in your silently, I've gone through it all. What do you see when you look at this picture? You look gorgeous. Confidence. Yeah. This is what I see. Lines, so many lines, frizzy hair, big teeth, pudgy arms. Did not realise they were so hairy until I started thinking about getting my photographs taken. Right? Oop. The next questions were, is my work even good enough to promote? Is my brand good enough? I'm talking about branding. And who am I to get my photos taken? I've already been through this a couple of times, I since you've seen it. But essentially, this is how I felt going into my shoot. So, I mean, I'm standing here going, get your photos taken, or, stand up in front of your business. I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to everybody here, because it has to be a constant reminder. I feel like this is, it's playing. Okay. So the next thing, just a very simple thing. Your brand is not about you. Your brand is about your clients. It's about showing up for them. And we forget that sometimes. But you know what? We have to get over ourselves and put ourselves out there. Because the people who we've already helped in our business, there's more of them. And they're looking for you. And if they can't find you, they're not going to hire you. So then the last thing that I want to talk about really briefly is your story is your brand. Who you are, your story. And something a really easy thing to do for this woman, Audrey, is a dog photographer. It would have been very easy for her to just use her photographs of her dogs that she shoots every day and makes look amazing. But she understands the power of her story. Her two rescue dogs rescued her. And the community that she has built around that is so powerful. And she knows that sharing that story is so important for her clients and the other people who are part of her portrait pack. So being able to show these photographs were on TV3 this morning.
Yay!
So Audrey is Ireland AM's resident pet photographer, and she used the photographs because illustrating her story is really important. So I'm going to ask you, what's your story? Okay, I know this is, like, obviously we're not going to answer this question, but just something to think about. The hero's journey. You may be familiar with this idea of the hero. If you think of like Lord of the Rings, you know, or any of those big epic movies, the hero, like, so in Lord of the Rings, you know, Frodo, he gets the ring, he's got to go on this journey, and he doesn't know what to do, but he goes on the journey anyway, and he keeps going forward, and he meets Gandalf, and he's got Sam, and he's, you know, and all these things happen, and he does what he needs to do, and he comes back to, where's he from? Where's the little place called? Hobbiton?
Hobbiton, yeah.
Yes. So he goes back there, right? He's still Frodo, but he's a new person. And we are essentially doing that over our lives, over one day in our lives. This story kind of plays out. But I want to ask you, who's the hero in your business?
Me,
Me, the client. Okay. Both answers are essentially correct. As a human, you're the hero in your story. But as a business owner, your client is your hero. You are the Gandalf to that Frodo, and they need you to walk that path with them, to say, yeah, look, I've been there. Exactly as you're sharing earlier, Amanda, you know, being in a mastermind, wanting to speak, being there, doing that, and then sharing that with other people. So, you know, if you're going to be successful in your business, showing up and sharing that story is really important. So that's it. Thank you very much.
See why I'm a big fan of her work? I don't know, many times I visit her website just to look.
Oh, I should update you more often.
Yeah, just for me. I hope that resonated with you, because it definitely resonates. She sings my